thought for the day is mine, here's the invitation. Find the distance that separates you from somebody else and seek to bridge it. Close the gap. Move to eliminate anything that separates you from somebody else. Everybody has that person, even here or maybe beyond here, where you kind of say, yeah, I want to do my part to kind of bridge the distance that keeps us apart. As always with my stories, I don't know if they bear repeating, I just know they will be repeated. So this story that came to mind about that happened years ago when I was pastor at Dolores Mission, and it was a summer night, and I was walking in the projects. I see this guy, Louis. And Louis an older vato, from a neighborhood, but he doesn't play that stuff anymore. He got a really good job through Homeboy Industries in a warehouse, and he's the sole provider for his two little sons. And so he's smoking a frajo on the back stoop of his project. So I sit and I talk with him. And we talk about a lot of things. And as we're talking, I can see this bola of homies, and we happen to be sitting in their neighborhood, at the time. And I see these guys, and I see one guy there, and I decide to put him on the front page. So, hey, Lefty, come here. So he comes over to me, and he has that face like, what is he going to tell me? And I said, "Oh, what are you doing out here?" He goes, "Kicking it with the homies." So I said, "Well, duh, of course you are. Why are you out here? And where should you be?" I said, "I don't know, kicking it with the homies, I guess." I said, "No, dog. Last night, your lady Lisa, who's 9.3 months pregnant, big as a ramfla, she ended up, having a false alarm last night, and you were missing in action. Nobody could find you. I knew this already, which is why I decided to put him on the front page." And I said, "So, what's que onda? Well, my suegra was with her, so there was no pedo." I go, "I can't even believe you just said that to me. Aren't you going to be there when the baby is born?" And he goes, "La neta, I don't think I can hang." And I go, "Oh, I can't even believe my earlobe." So I turned to Louis and I said, "Give him clecha. Were you there when your sons were born?" He goes, "Of course I was." "Well, then tell him what that experience is about. How's he going to miss out on this experience?" And so he goes, "Oh, I don't think he wants to hear about what happened to me." I said, "Of course he does. That's why we're in this life together, is to share our experience." Now, the two of them are from two different enemy neighborhoods. And when Lefty came over, he greeted me with a big abrazo, but he didn't even acknowledge that Louis was even there. They're from enemy neighborhoods, but he doesn't trip because Louis is older. But he didn't acknowledge that they were sharing the same breathing space. So finally, Louis stands up and he gets all animado and he starts to tell him his experience. And he said, "Well, there I was in the sala de espera waiting for my first morito to be born, and I'm waiting, and suddenly the nurse shows up, and she's all paniqueada, and she says, 'It's time, let's go.' So we start running down the hall, and as we're running, she's putting like this dress on me, and she's putting this cachucha on my head, and she's putting guantes on my hands, and she puts a máscara across my máscara, and we're running down the hall, and I'm all like this, acá, and she gets to this door, she flings open the door, and she pushes me in, and there are two legs spread wide open with a little head is starting to come out. And I have to get out of this room. I cannot stay in this room. So I go to leave. She pulls my ass back into the room. But I can't stay in this room. And Alex and I are looking at him. We go, "Well, why can't you stay in this room?" And he says, "Because that was not my lady." So I remember thinking, "Why, thank you, Mr. Helpful." But I'll remember, the main thing was that Lefty and I were howling with laughter. We laughed so hard. And Louis didn't really understand exactly why we were laughing. And then I watched as Lefty sat there on the step. And the two of them began to talk about what it meant to be a father and how important it was to be there when your kid is born. And suddenly a separation that had existed between them had been bridged. That there's always distance between us and other people, and the whole point in life is to seek to close that gap that separates us. I'm thinking of this because Luis Perez has kept sending me pictures of his son, and quite hilarious. And they're home now, and doing really well. I think he may be here today. So bridge that gap. Choose today to seek that person with whom you have some kind of distance, and eliminate that separation and that space. So